So to anybody who is willing to start goat farming, I have 3 things to tell them. First of all, the personal factors. Then you have the economic factors and a master plan.
Okay.
You, the person who's going to start a small farm or a big farm, the first question, you have to first assess yourself. What kind of a person are you? Are you passionate about farming? That's the number 1 factor to consider. Are you the kind of a person who merely falls to sick because you have made a loss in farming? Are you the kind of a person who can manage people who never went to much schooling like you? People of different temperaments and different personalities. So what kind of a person are you? Are you someone who looks at the process before money and you endure the hardships involved in the process? At what stage of life are you? Are you the kind of person who is so busy that when you start this farm, you will not be around, or you are there once in a month, or totally absent? All those factors, when you are going to start a small farm, decide your success, whether you succeed or you fail.
Okay.
And again, there are some economic factors. Do you have initial capital to invest in the business? Do you have the working capital to invest in the business? In the process, you'll be in negative cash flows, because usually this business takes 1 to 2 years before giving you profits. So before that, do you have the initial capital to invest and the working capital to invest in the business, so that the turnaround of the business is not affected by the lack of initial capital? So all those factors should be considered. Another thing to consider, if you have assessed yourself properly, I would call it self-assessment or self-profiling of your ability to start a business, which requires persistence, patience, management, and availability. Because it takes time for word of mouth to spread. So in farming, if you are not patient, you can't succeed. So it needs someone who is patient with this project, because it's not that like opening up a shop that when you open it today, from tomorrow you're going to start making profits. So in this business, it needs patience. So you have to first assess yourself and know, can you go through all those hardships before succeeding? Then you must have a master plan. The master plan tells you where to start from and where to end. So if you have your little money or you have your piece of land, the size of the land decides the type of the grazing system you are going to use.
Yes.
If you have 2 acres of land and you are going into this business and want to do a serious business, you can't do free range, because you keep very
because
animal.
you won't even have enough land for them to move around.
Yes, so it's better you go for zero grazing, because at least an acre on zero grazing can accommodate 13 to 20 goats. But still it depends. Do you have enough feeds on that single acre? Because even if you have an acre or 2 or 5, when there are no feeds, still you can't support 20 goats. So as long as we're talking about the size of the land to start, what matters on the land is the amount of feeds that you have on that piece of land.
Okay.
So we shall say 13 to 20 goats on zero grazing, but when you have enough feeds to
on
support
that 1
them.
acre.
So even someone with 2 acres or an acre can start goat farming. But when you are on zero grazing, not on free range.
Okay.
So if you have your piece of land and you want to start like with 20 or 5 or 3 or 2, the first thing you should put into consideration are the feeds.
Okay.
The common mistakes we all did when we are starting, we are so much excited on the animals.
Yes.
That
forgetting that
we did not focus so much on the feeds, not knowing that these animals need feeds. Okay. That's the common mistake that we farmers who are starting did. So if you get a chance and watch the videos of those who have made mistakes, you don't fall in the same category.
Okay.
Again, you should seek for knowledge. You can make research, make farm visits, YouTube channels, and mainly visit those farms which fit your style of farming. If you are going to do zero grazing, there's no reason why you should go for a farm
somebody who
which
does
is going
zero
to do,
grazing.
Yeah. So it's free range.
Free range, yes.
So it's better if you have a small piece of land, visit those farmers who fit your style of farming that you wish to do, so that you can learn something.
Okay.
That's seeking for knowledge. If we seek for knowledge first, it will help us to avoid some common mistakes that the beginners do. Okay. Anybody who's going to come into this small farming or big farming, you should take time and acquire knowledge on the basics of veterinary work. Reason being, there are times when your goat is about to deliver, you don't have a vet, it's not allowed, maybe the phone is off, you're going to lose an animal. Because the theme of small farming is you have to keep small problems small and don't allow them to grow big. So the basics, and is another way of saving some money, because even if your goat have cough, diarrhea, every time you call a vet, it becomes so expensive, very, very expensive to employ. So it's good you learn something about how to handle health problems, how to dress some wounds, how to help animal to give birth. All that knowledge is necessary before coming into this business.
Okay.
Instead of getting excited, I want 100, how are you going to manage them? Because in life, you can't get something you have never had if you don't change yourself first. Okay. So it makes a lot of sense if you learn something before coming into this business.
How much money did you start with?
Lucky enough for us here, we found these wooden stuffs here already.
Like you had trees on the land?
On the land. So it's what we used.
Okay.
I did not construct a raised house, though I know it has many advantages over this ground floor house. But in the beginning, what matters most
is to start.
And you start with what you have where you are. So it's what I started with. I started with what I had. So it became cheap. I just bought the nails and some sheets. And since I started with it, and I kept on adding, at times it's so hard for someone to buy these improved breeds because they are a bit costly. But as long as you can afford getting 500K, you buy one because that's what you can manage at the moment. So you keep on adding on. But as long as you source it from a recognizable breeder, that is what matters most.
So in simple terms, like we want to quantify, somebody would be there outside there thinking, oh, maybe I need 20 million, maybe I need 5 million, maybe I need this much. How much should somebody have?
The much that someone should have depends on the big picture he has. Someone who wants to start and he feels that I want to start with 5 or I want to start with 10. We cannot compare him or her with someone who wants 50 or 100 or 200. So if it's about starting, for someone who has more money, can start with 100, even if he has 100 million. But someone who feels that I want to do goat farming, I have my small piece of land. What makes a business sense? I would recommend at least 10 goats.
Okay.
But if you can afford, like someone who's receiving his or her salary monthly and can save 500 and buy one per month, it is still possible, even if we start with 2. But what matters most is the back we are going to use, because people can source locals at a cheaper price, and then they use a pure back, because a good back is half your herd, so that matters most. The back you are going to use in your herd. So even if you want to buy goats of 250, the locals, make sure you get at least a Savannah oil boar, which is a pure. Even though it is expensive, it will bring back the profits. So that's what they should consider, the beginners who are coming into this business.
How long have you been doing this thing?
I've been doing this 1.5 years.
Wow, 1.5 years, and you've been able to attain all this level of success. How many workers do you have?
Right here, I have around 8, but of which 4 of them, because for me I wanted to change people's lives. From my background, I grew up from a family which is not in a good position. I called some 4, and those ladies you have seen there, so I haven't considered them as workers. I told them I have got some money, I have a dream. I want to be among the best breeders in Uganda, in the country. Come, I have a dream, let us work together, we shall share the profits. So I don't consider them as workers, I consider them as friends, but the ones which are paid monthly, a must do, I have 4.
Oh, like those that run around and so forth.
But at least when we sell, we share what we have got.
Okay. So I also see you have some sheep, you have some cow. Talk about it. Why did you choose to have a sheep again in the flock?
The sheep. First of all, I love them. I love sheep. And again, for them, they are more resistant to diseases as compared to the goats. And again, for them, at least 250 you can sell. So I never wanted to sell my goat of 1 million because I'm lacking 200 shillings. So those were like security here. In case of something little, that's what I can sell off and I get money. So I keep my money in those animals.
Ah, I see.